This is the Vtin Relaxer Bluetooth shower speaker. Now, included with the shower speaker are the instructions, which are fairly basic and probably need a few additions, especially when you have an illustration in the pamphlet without any explanation of what the buttons are in the illustration. And then, of course, a micro charging cable here. Now, charging of this speaker takes about 5 hours to fully charge, which is longer than most typical shower speakers, but you do get about 8 hours of playtime. You know, a red LED here at the top indicates charging and changes to blue when it's fully charged. To power on, you hit the power button here and hold that down for a few seconds. Get it on here. There we go. And you can hear that it's ready to pair. I paired this with my Android phone, had no issues with that. The top of the speaker, I'll bring it in closer, has 6 different buttons here. The power, the answer hang up, the next back buttons, the play pause, that kind of thing. The problem here, as you can see, is the buttons, and I know it's hard to see on camera, the symbols are blended into the buttons themselves. So they're marked with a function button, but they're really difficult to see because they're also white. I mean, it's almost as difficult on camera to see as it is in person to see them. But don't know why they didn't kind of mark them to where it make them a little bit easier to see, but they are pretty difficult to see. You know, the one thing also with this is it's got a suction cup here on the back. Is when you have this on the wall, the buttons are a bit hard to push, and this thing kind of wiggles around a bit. So it gives the suction cup has a bit too much flexibility in this when you're pushing the button, and the buttons are kind of a little hard to push. You know, you have to kind of push it up against the wall to get the buttons to do what you want them to do. But the charging port here, as you can see, is covered by a protective cover here, especially since it's going to be in the shower area. But the one thing I really like about this, as you can see with it lit up here, is the clear, easy to read digital display that shows the various things on here: the battery level, the volume level, the time, the Bluetooth connection here, and also the FM radio stations. I mean, it's a nice addition to this speaker, especially, or to any speaker really, especially when you have the FM feature built into a device. One of my, complaints for previous devices of sorts is when it didn't have a display when it had an FM radio. The phone call feature, this is okay, but the caller thought I sounded a bit muffled. Music-wise is okay, but it's also a bit muffled, which I presume is because the speaker is actually vented on the back as opposed to the front. I mean, it's great for water resistance, but not for sound. For a shower speaker, though, this is okay. Bluetooth range with this was also a bit weaker than I expected from a Bluetooth 4.0 device. As the speaker began to get interruptions in about the 15 to 20 foot range from the source. The FM radio feature, and let me hit the button here for that. If I can see it, it's hard. Again, it's hard to see. There it is. The FM radio feature, I'm going to have it automatically kind of float through here. FM radio feature is okay outside the shower. Let me turn the volume down just a second. The FM radio feature is okay outside the shower, but I live close to a big city, and I really found that I got fairly mediocre reception. And I'm next to a window here right now in my office, but even more limited reception inside the shower area, especially without any kind of exterior intent to kind of help with the reception. I mean, it's okay, but again, I didn't find that it was, great reception per se. But let me turn up the volume to kind of let you hear the sound a little bit. Oops, I got it off station here. And again, I thought the speaker's a little muffled, but and you can hear a little bit scratchy, especially on the radio. But I mean, it's okay for a shower speaker. But I mean, I think the FM radio is a nice idea. But really, if you can think about the area they're in, especially if you have an interior shower, you're not going to get really great reception in the shower. So it's a nice idea. Maybe for this device, not so great of an idea, depending on the type of reception you're able to get. But the light blue speaker looks nice. The digital display is a nice feature. But again, it's this device is hampered by a few shortcomings. The button symbols are not well marked, hard to see, a bit hard to push when on the wall. Sound is okay, but a bit muffled, especially I found on Bluetooth it was. The Bluetooth range is less than average for devices of this type, and the FM radio reception is, again, a bit limited without any kind of antenna to help it out, especially in the shower. I give this 3.5 stars.